everybody, it's Kai from the Kai&Co system, and today I thought that I would show you our published book. There's a really exciting video that will be coming at the beginning of February, and I really want to do it now, but I can't because the video, I'm trying not to spoil it, the video has supplies that are required, and those supplies will not be getting here until the 1st of February. And as soon as I get them, I will be sitting down and making the video and then editing it shortly after that. But in the meantime, I still want to provide content, and so here we are. I'm going to be making a video about our published book. For those of you who don't know, we do have a published book. It's 400 poems that we wrote spanning from about the beginning of middle school to early high school. Most of the poems in this book were written by Maeve and Kai. There are probably a few in here who were written by other authors, but the majority were myself and Maeve. So today I thought I might read you a couple of the poems from our book to maybe pique your interest if you haven't already read it, or give you a little sneak peek of what you might enjoy if you do decide to purchase it and support us. Before we get started with that though, I do kind of want to talk about what poetry means to us and what got us started in writing poetry. We started writing poetry in middle school, which was a pretty trauma-heavy time for us, as a way to cope and a means for Maeve and myself and any other authors who wrote poetry to feel heard. It was an escape and a way for us to express ourselves, and for a long time it felt like writing poetry was the only way that we could be understood. We wrote thousands of poems in middle school and high school, and quite a few of them were garbage, which is to be expected, but that's not really the point. The point is that when we wrote them at the time, it made us feel so much better. So this book and another book that's on the way are just 900 of the best poems that we've written. The other book is yet to come. It is done, it's fully written, but we haven't published it yet, and I'm honestly not sure when that's going to happen, so I'm not going to give you a date because I can't promise that. But there will be another poetry book in the future with 500 poems instead of 400 this time. So this book was published in 2017, and all of the poems that are in it were written before we knew we had DID. They are quite telling sometimes, and I also would like to warn anyone who does read this, big trigger warning. There is a lot of poetry in here about traumatic things that occurred, or just possibly triggering things in general, such as abuse and self-harm and eating disorders, and I really don't want anyone to be like, oh yes, support them, read their book, and then get really triggered. So just please be careful when you're reading it. And obviously if you think you can't handle it, or you're worried that you will get triggered, don't buy it, don't read it. We don't want you to upset yourself or any of your parts. Reading back through this, there are a few typos. I am aware of them. There's not really anything I can do about it now, but I am aware that there are some typos in here. I was like 14 when it was published, and I didn't let anyone edit it, so oops. In the future, I won't make that mistake. I have selected a few poems to read, and I hope you enjoy them. This is poem number 98 on page 31. How did you manage to defeat the dragons that nestle in the caves of my mind and heart when even I could not destroy them? I learned to befriend them. Although you defeated these few demons to get to my heart, there will be more, and that is what I think you do not understand. This is poem number 137 on page 40. You are the shiny trophy, sitting on the tallest shelf, shown off in adoration and victory, and I am the speck of dust that lingers, floating in the air for a moment longer just to gaze in awe at you. This is poem 166 on page 48. Curious bumblebees, swirling around asking what I am. Sorry to disappoint, but I am not a flower, nor am I many things that I wish to be. This is poem number 172 on page 51. Her eyes change. One moment, they will be stormy blue, like the sound of seagulls, and the ocean waves crashing on the rocks, causing a white spray to pepper the salty air below gray thunderclouds. Another moment, they are the color of the moss that stretches across the forest floor like a carpet when the sunlight's golden rays touch it. And sometimes they are like a sad painting that tells a story of navy blue and midnight stars, and azure splatters and cobalt flecks and indigo swirls in nearly black depths. And yet again, they change to the shade of fern and emerald, a green that smells of pine and fresh air but hides secrets of basil and olives and rare birds. Each time you look at her eyes, they are a different color and tell a different story, and sometimes seem to be a completely new set of gorgeous eyes, but every time they are the same eyes. This is poem 270 on page 90. I scare myself sometimes with the thoughts that I think and the things I could become and the ideas that creep in my weary head. I scare myself sometimes with the instincts that scream and the voices that call out and the animals that roar untamed in my soul. I'm reading through these and there are so many of them where I can tell that someone was co-conscious when I wrote them or when Maeve wrote them. Like, it's kind of crazy looking back and seeing how obvious it was and like nobody noticed and I didn't notice, but it should have been obvious, you know? Crazy. This is poem 298 on page 100. Words, trapped inside the dark expanses of my mind. When they reach the edge, about to escape, they are blocked by bars, shoved back by society, and plunged back into darkness by anxiety, never to be spoken or written, always to be floating, untouched, unread, unheard. The typos! There are so many! Oh my god. Come on, 14-year-old me. This is poem 359 on page 120. Roses sprouting from her cheeks, lips sweet as pink cotton candy, eyes made from earth emeralds, and her hair is made of soft honey. Her curves are like the mountains, and her hair flows like the stream. Her eyes sparkle like the stars, and her presence is a dream. This is poem 392 on page 131. The dandelion, the wishing flower, a desire granted from a hated weed, but if I had one dandelion wish, it would be that you were here with me. This is poem 398 on page 133. How quickly the little ones grow up and become older and ruined by society's stigmas and rules, developing disorders and flaws, told they will never be good enough, so they fall back on solitude, and depression becomes their best friend. Innocence and purity disappears to become what everyone else is, a broken, lost shell of a person. That's depressing, but there we go. So those are just a few of the poems. I didn't read very many because a lot of them might be triggering or are really short or are just hard to express orally. It's better to read them yourself. So if you'd like to do that, you can order our book. It will be in the description below, as well as our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and what's the other one? I feel like there's another one. It's fine. It'll be in the description. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye! Every time I try to record a video, my ADHD... I've been pretty unmotivated recently, if I'm being honest, and I still want to provide content to you all, so that's today's video. So here we are, and I'm gonna make a video today, and I'm making a video right now. Jesus Christ. I'd get here until the 1st of February. The 1st of February. And yeah. What is wrong with me? So for any of those of you, I can't talk. That we wrote, spanning from middle school to the beginning. Yeah. But the majority of them were written by. Why did the lighting just do that? That was so weird. Anyways, most of them were garbage. So loud. So that's fun. Hate reading my poetry out loud. I literally can't find anything good to read. I literally just recorded for 45 minutes. I'm gonna cry editing this.